All right, hello everybody. It is me, Rachel Cross, bringing you Art from the Heart. This is our Art from the Heart time where every art project we create is with a point and a purpose. Today we are going to be doing one of my favorite art activities, and it is called the Crayon Resist Project. So we are going to be using watercolors, and if we do not have access to watercolors, I do provide some alternatives today, and I will walk you through those. And so let me show you some samples before we get started. These are a really fun, creative way to just kind of use our imagination and our creativity and just see what we can come up with. And the process of how the crayon, because that's what we're going to use, a white crayon, works with the watercolors. Or we're also going to use food coloring if we do not have access to watercolors. It's really, really cool. It's kind of where science meets art, and we get to see how the wax from the crayon and the watercolor does not mix. And so it will leave this awesome look of the white crayon, and our watercolor will just kind of go around it and fill in our space around our white crayon. And that's where we get to make some really cool designs and just be really creative. I'm going to keep with some inspirational sayings that we can say to ourselves, some positive motivation. Those are some things that I wrote on the ones that I did. I have I am bright, I am unique. That was one of a mountain that a 6th grade student did for me. So just get really creative, have fun. Oh, I don't know if I showed this one, but this is a fun one too. It says, I am sincere. And so it's a great way to just give ourselves affirmations. Those are positive, kind words to ourselves. And as I was creating these just recently, I thought, how awesome would it be to even make them like a postcard? That's kind of why I cut them smaller, because we could actually send them to someone, especially with our social distancing right now and what we're going through. We can get really creative, or even keep them for a time when we do get to see the people. However we can make them, or even just make them for yourself, for different family members in your home. And let's just inspire each other, right? We have so much going on. It is always great to have a kind, positive message to ourselves. I know that always makes me feel good. So that is enough talking about that. Let's get started on creating. So I am using cardstock. You can use watercolor paper, but I've actually found that the cardstock holds the white crayon better than the watercolor paper. So this is what I'm using. Again, I cut it, a big sheet, it was this size, cut it into 4s, and I just went ahead and cut that down because I like the smaller size. So that's our supply is cardstock, the white crayon, or you can use an oil pastel if you have those available. We're going to be using the watercolors if you have access to those, and if not, I do have the alternative, and I will show this. It's really cool. First time I've ever done it was with food coloring. It actually works exactly the same as watercolors, so that was amazing. But also, if we do not have access to any of those, hey, we can always draw our own and create our own on any type of paper, anything that we have available, whether you like to draw with pencil or marker or pen or colored pencils, crayons, anything that you have. This is our time to be creative and be expressive and just have a good time. So with that, I also had scissors on there. I have cups for the water and little cups for the food coloring. So paper towels are good to have on hand when we're doing watercoloring. Sometimes we need to blot it on our brush. And then I also wrote down some things. I know sometimes for me, I need to have a little list in front of me to encourage me on what to say to myself or others. So I just went ahead and wrote these down for us today. And so some of the sayings are, you're amazing, be you. Courageous is an amazing word that I love to use. Even brave. We have to be brave sometimes. And it's okay to acknowledge that and say that I'm brave. It feels good, and it's okay to feel that way about ourselves. So with that, I'm going to move this over. I'm going to take the white crayon, the paper and the white crayon, And so I'm just going to go ahead and write the word brave on my paper. And so with that, it is going to be very hard to see the white crayon. So it's kind of revealing also what you wrote. Don't worry about not being able to see it. That's totally normal. And it's the fun of the process of watching how the watercolor will reveal our creation on our paper. I'm just making some squiggly lines around the word brave just so I can kind of fill in the gaps of the paper. If you don't want to write any words, hey, that's fine. Draw a picture. Anything that you want to do is going to be fun and amazing. So after I got the crayon down on the paper, I'm going to go ahead and grab a brush. Watercoloring is very, very simple. We just get, this is how I do it. People do it differently. This is how Miss Rachel does it. I just get my brush wet. I'm just going to go ahead and pick a color. You just kind of get that color wet. And so with this, with the Crayon Resist project, you are going to want to use minimal water. One, especially using cardstock, the paper will not absorb the water, so be careful rubbing it back and forth. And also, the thicker your paint right now, the brighter and more standing out of your crayon when we reveal it. So I'm just going to go over it right here real quickly so I can also show you some of the other examples. Here we go. Just going to add some water on there. So super fun. You can blend colors, make them multicolors, make them one color. I think I got a little bit too much right there. You can always just smear it over a bit. Let's go ahead and go like that, and there it is. It is that easy. Check that out. I think it is totally cool. I love this project. So many endless possibilities with that. Now with the cardstock, it will curl up a little bit. That is normal. But as it dries, it should flatten out. And just like this, right? It's pretty flat. It'll feel flimsy when it's wet. Totally normal. It'll dry and harden back up. So this is the watercolor one. And I just want to do a quick sample demo of the food coloring. So with this, again, it was my first time doing it. You just take a little cup, whatever you have available. If you don't have a little cup, use a big cup, little bit of water. So we're going to just put a few drops of the food coloring in. And it's very concentrated color, but that's what we want with this project. I'm just going to stir it up. Again, I'm going to use my crayon. I'm going to write, ooh, honest. You know what? Sometimes being honest, it's hard. But you know what? It feels really good. It feels really good to be honest, even when sometimes it's hard. Because we know if we be honest, ooh, we might get in trouble. But you know what? It's okay. We're going to learn. I have learned so much in life by making mistakes, being honest, and then learning from it. Okay, so again, you can't see it, right? I have the white crayon on there. Going to grab my brush, my food coloring, and check it out. If you happen to have food coloring in your food pantry, this is a great alternative to watercolors. And it dries just the same. It is the same exact technique to it. And I think it's pretty cool that you can use food coloring. Definitely a great alternative. All right, so here it is. A real quick sample. Oh wait, I gotta fix that right there. There we go. And there we go, right, with just the food coloring. How amazing is that? So there is my honest, a great reminder to myself that, hey, it's okay to be honest and sincere and brave and bright and shine myself. This was just the initial of my first name right here, endless possibilities. Whatever you choose to create, we would love to see your creations. Remember to share them with us on Instagram at #OperationStayConnected. We love to see your creativity and what you come up with. And remember, anytime you're creating art and art from the heart, there is never a wrong way to create art. So please share with us your creations, and I will see you next time.